Hello people, I welcome everybody to Kavish IAS Converting Possibilities into Reality. Today we are going to cover another very important contemporary issue, the water disputes in India. Just like the previous session, anybody who has not seen the previous video, you can see this in the Kavish IAS YouTube channel itself. It's just the video before this. In that video, we discussed all the interstate river disputes. But in this video, we are going to be talking about the transboundary river disputes. So without further ado, let's start. So as we know that India has only like 4% of the world's total water resources, and India only itself contains almost 17% of the world population, right? This is a very known fact. With only 4% of the water resources. And what about the region of India and all its neighboring countries? So we will see India along with its neighboring countries like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar and Afghanistan. Together, the area is obviously densely populated with around 1.8 billion people and almost 23% of the world's population. So of course, this region is densely populated. So with population comes a scarcity in the resources. Of course, this region has it is one of the most water stressed regions of the world, and regarding India's rank in the water quality index, it was 120 out of 122 countries. So one can imagine that in India itself, the stress on water is extremely bad. And if we consider the other nations of Asia, South Asia, for example, the Middle Eastern countries, or even if we consider the Northern African belt, so these regions are also severely populated, and apart from that, there is a huge water crisis that is going on. Pakistan and Afghanistan tops the list of the most water stressed nations of the world. So in this session, we are going to be talking about all the transboundary river disputes that has been in news in recent times, or sometimes also, regarding the past issues. So we will see them in details. So we will see what are the major transboundary rivers that are in India, which have their linkages with other nations of South Asia. So first we will see that the Indus Basin, it consists of the 6 tributaries, right? These are the 6 tributaries: the Indus, Chenab, Jhelum, Ravi, Beas and Satluj. So all the 6 rivers, they interlink India, Pakistan and China. This is a known fact, because even if we see this image right here, we can see that this is the region of the origin of Indus River. This region, the Manas Sarovar region, and from this place, Indus takes a northwestern route and it enters India, and then it flows through the states of Ladakh and Jammu and Kashmir, and then it goes to the Pakistan Baluchistan area, this area, and then from here, this is the Panchnath region. The Panchnath region, here we can see that in the Panchnath region, all the 5 tributaries, the Satluj, Ravi, Chenab, Beas, Jhelum, all the 5 tributaries, they re-enter India, and some of them also cross this boundary and also reach the Tibet region again. So of course the Indus basin covers the three major countries in this region. Apart from that, we also have the Brahmaputra and the Ganga basin. So this is the place where Brahmaputra originates, and it covers the entire horizontal belt of the eastern India, the northeastern India. And then it enters India, it cuts through India from the Assam region, it flows through Assam, and then it enters the Bangladesh region here, and it drainages into the Bay of Bengal region. So of course Brahmaputra and Ganga basin also, because the Ganga basin, we will see that the Ganga basin's upstream tributaries, they originate from the Himalayas, and then the Ganga basin flows through this part, and many of its tributaries go into the Nepal territory. So we can see that there are other rivers like Kosi, Gandak and Mahakali, which again flow through Nepal, and they also enter India. So Indus and Brahmaputra and even some of the midstream tributaries of the Ganges, they originate from the Tibetan plateau and flow through India and other countries. So of course we can see that there are too many transboundary rivers that not only they have their position in India, but they also flow through various regions of other countries. So we understand there can be many cases where conflicts may arise due to various issues. For example, number one, like the hydropower generation. This can be an issue of contention. Number two is the strategic issues, strategic diplomatic issues regarding the maintenance of boundaries. That can be one of the issues why water is always a politically contested issue in South Asia. And the most alarming issue that is there regarding the water, that is the severe water crisis that this region is facing, because as we all know that population has been ever increasing in this region. So along with this increased demand, there is severe water pollution, there is water contamination, there is a major issue of climate crisis that is again on the rise, and there is too much of water usage for irrigation purposes. Okay, that is also another issue, the irrigation usages. So due to all of these issues, the transboundary rivers that are there in India, there are many times when the disputes arise due to the transboundary rivers. Now we will look at them in details, and we will see what are the issues that are presently taking place due to these transboundary rivers. First, we will have a look at the Indo-Bangladesh situation that is going on. So as we know that the main issue of contention between India and Bangladesh is the river Tista. Okay, so the river Tista, this originates in the Himalayas, and then they flow through Sikkim and West Bengal. As you can see, this region, it originates in this part, the kind of eastern part of the Himalayas, and then they flow through the Sikkim part, and then they flow through West Bengal part, and then they also join the Brahmaputra in Assam, and also the Jamuna in Bangladesh. And then it so this is the situation here, and the Tista river, it drainages almost like 2,800 square kilometers of Bangladesh region. The entire floodplains of the Sikkim state is flooded by Tista. So you can imagine that Tista is a very important river when it comes to states of Sikkim and also North Bengal region and also Bangladesh. The thing is, according to the Ganga Water Treaty of 1996, an agreement was made to share the surface waters of the Farakka barrage. And this is where the Bangladesh demanded that there should be equitable distribution of Tista waters from India. So Bangladesh demanded that there should be equitable distribution, but this issue has always stayed on the surface. This has stayed unresolved. The reason is because water is a state subject, as we know. Water is a state subject. So water being a state subject is something. Water is a state subject. So as water is a state subject, so the states through which the rivers flow, they must endorse the deals that are supported by the union. So this is the reason why, because West Bengal has not yet endorsed this treaty, the Ganga Water Treaty of 1996, which is why this Tista River dispute has not seen a resolution. So this is the issue with the India-Bangladesh Transboundary River, which is the Tista River. Next we will go to the India-Nepal situation. So we know that water management between India and Nepal have been in agreement signed regarding the Kosi, Gandak and the Mahakali River. And these rivers were mainly used for the hydroelectric and the irrigation projects generation, and there were issues with building dams and barrages. But the thing is, no project except the Kosi barrage has been completed yet. The Kosi barrage is the only one that has been completed. Other than that, no other, even the smaller rivers, the smaller tributaries, no hydroelectric hydro generation, power generation project has been completed as of yet. So we will see that the Kosi agreement, this was signed in 1954. But the situation is such that the water rights were not addressed properly. So this is the reason why these conflicts still stay hanging. And there are other issues with the Kosi River. For example, there is a situation with the too much of sedimentation of Kosi River. Okay, this is the number one issue. And then the second thing is the flooding of the Kosi River. And then the third issue is that there is also a conflict that is regarding the Mahakali River. And regarding this Mahakali River, the Sugauli Treaty of 1816 was signed with regards to the Mahakali River. Sugauli Treaty of 1816. This was regarding the Mahakali River. And the thing is that both India and Nepal were supposed to choose a particular stream as the boundary between them so that the Mahakali river could be utilized properly. But neither of the two countries have ever been able to choose a particular stream as their boundary. So, this is the reason why these disputes have still stayed unresolved. The next thing that we are going to see is the India and India-Pakistan situation. And as we all know that there is a very famous treaty which is known as the Indus Water Treaty of 1960s, and which this particular treaty said that the three important rivers of Indus, Chenab and Jhelum, ICJ, these three rivers were supposed to be utilized by Pakistan. They were under the governance of Pakistan. The control, distribution and usage of the rivers were under Pakistan's territory, and India was given the other three rivers, Bias, Ravi and Satluj. This was under India's control. But the latest dispute is such that the hydroelectric projects that India is building along the Chenab River, which according to Pakistan, it violates the treaty and it adversely impacts the water supply. So the thing is, both India and Pakistan has been in conflict ever since this Indus water treaty has been signed, and in the recent times India has often done some infrastructural work in the banks of the Chenab River. For example, be it the bridge construction or dam construction. So according to Pakistan, all these infrastructural developments that India has conducted, they violate the Indus Water Treaty of 1960, and this is obviously like it acts like a bone of contention between the already sour relations between India and Pakistan. Next, we will move on to the Indo-China dispute. So, as we all are very much aware of the fact that China is presently very much it is full of all the expansionist policies. So we have already seen so many times that the Chinese government has been doing many kinds of infrastructural developments along the Arunachal Pradesh border area, and the main bone of contention between India and China is the river Brahmaputra. So regarding this particular river, there are issues that are still on the rise. They are still being faced by both the countries. So the thing is that China has a upper hand when it comes to building dams and infrastructures, because it is situated in such a place. It is situated in the China is a upstream riparian state. So which is why China has an advantage of diverting water flow from the river systems by building the dams. And Beijing already has a lot of expansionist policies. For example, the Yarlung-Zangbo Dam, okay, this is built very close to the line of actual control in Tibet. Okay, this is the area. This is the area, the Yarlung-Zangbo. This is a dam that has been constructed, and this is very close to the lake area, and this is also a concern of major security reasons. So we will see that what is the issue of how to navigate through the water diplomacy situation. So we will see what are the current issues that all these nations are facing with regards to water mismanagement. First of all is that the complex orientation of the rivers in this region. So as we can see, the rivers are situated in such a way they flow through difficult terrains, and this difficult situation leads to, they add fuel to the already existing geopolitical tensions between the states. So this is a geographical factor. This is obviously a geographical factor that obviously has some strategic consequences that the nations have to face if they do not uh, resolve these conflicts. The thing is, no South Asian nation has ratified no South Asian nation has ratified the UN Convention on the Law of the Navigational Uses of the International Water Course. So, this was a convention, this was brought up by the United Nations to regulate the international utilization and distribution of the waters, river systems. So it's an international water law to protect, preserve, and manage the water resources effectively. But no South Asian nation has ratified this convention. And apart from that, the bilateral treaties and forums that are present, these are not based on mutually consistent principles, which is why most of the times one of the states are always in conflict